All right, guys, how are we? Happy Sunday. It is December, and happy December. We are into the month of December, and today, a couple of kind of expected announcements that we're going to talk about coaching-wise at a couple of positions in the Power 4 league. First is Ryan Walters, and it's sad how the Ryan Walters Purdue tenure, I guess we could say, how it went for Ryan Walters. He was the defensive coordinator for Brett Bielema, a rising star in this profession, decided to go to Purdue. It's the type of job, looking back, that Ryan Walters, if he probably had a do-over, would likely stay at Illinois and continue to be their defensive coordinator, but he probably learned a ton of experiences, I guess we could say. I think that Ryan Walters learned a ton of experience at Purdue. And it was 5-19. It was so rough the end of the year. I mean, there's a stat out there. I mean, their margins were just as bad as any team in the Power 5. There's a stat out there, like if you gave Purdue a 35-point lead or a 34-point lead at every game, they would only win 6 games. So that means, like, if you gave them a 34-point lead, I mean, they were just getting housed, and the program wasn't heading in any sort of direction other than towards the bottom. And that's just the reality of it. Tried to hire Graham Harrell. The quarterback situation didn't work defensively, so nothing really panned out for Purdue. So Purdue's kind of, West Lafayette, middle of Indiana, but it's similar probably to what Bloomington, Indiana football was like. So I think that athletic director, Mike Babinski, I think that he's going to look all around the landscape. I could definitely see, like, Temple just hired Casey Keeler, who was the coach of South Dakota State. I could see the Boilermakers hiring a guy from the FCS ranks that's been a head coach a while. Or I'll tell you a candidate that's out there, like JMU candidate Chesney. Think his name is Chesney, who's a JMU guy. Younger guy, but was at Holy Cross and did really well, and now is at JMU. So you could go right back to that pipeline if you are Purdue. Mike Babinski's from Long Island. He's had, extensive experience before. I think he's going to hire somebody with coaching experience. I don't think that they're going to go for a coordinator again. So expect somebody who might even be a veteran with coaching experience that's going to be interested in Purdue. It's a tough job. The Big Ten is tough. Funding right now, I think, for football is tough. You have to be patient and be willing to build if you're going to be at Purdue. You look at Jeff Brom, what he ended up doing. Louisville has better funding, better NIL, and he left at a good time to go back to his alma mater, back to Louisville. Maybe you get somebody that's older, that's been in the business a while, that's going to want to stay at Purdue and build this program on toughness and could get decent quarterback play. Jeff Brom was just able to do it, and Purdue was at least a decent Big Ten team, but they were just going nowhere. So you expected that, and the optics of losing 66-0 to Indiana, the optics of losing, 50 to whatever to Oregon and to every team on their schedule, whether it was Michigan, Illinois. We can go through the entire schedule here. I could try to pull that up. But again, it's dire, the results for the Boilers, okay, for the Boilers. So I expect a veteran to be in play for Purdue. Purdue has a lot of work, Purdue has a lot of work that has to be done. To rebuild this football program. For Ryan Walters, he's 38 years old. He's from Los Angeles. He has ties to Colorado. He was a really, really good defensive coordinator at Illinois. I mean, there's guys that are playing in the league right now that swear by Ryan Walters, and he's done a really nice job. I mean, Aaron Henry is the D coordinator now at Illinois. He was under Ryan Walters, I believe, or he might have been at South Florida. But Witherspoon, who plays for the Seahawks, who's a really good corner, one of the best in the league. He was an Illinois guy. Sidney Brown, who played on the Eagles, was an Illinois guy. So they have some real talent. Okay. They have some real talent that Ryan Walters helped at Illinois, and that's why he got the job at Purdue. Devin Witherspoon. So again, I think that the JMU coach has a real chance. I think that if you're a veteran at the FCS level, I think even like a guy like Matt Entz, who's now at USC, but who was at North Dakota State, they're gonna select somebody that's a program builder. Look at Lance Leipold, and they're gonna look directly right towards Bloomington, right in state. They're gonna look at the model that of course, that Indiana did when they hired Kurt Signetti, okay? And they're going to see, can we get all these transfers and kind of jumpstart the program that way. So again, looking back at Purdue and looking at the schedule, 52-6 to Wisconsin. Their one shining moment was when they went back and forth with Illinois, losing a heartbreaker, 50-49. Played an overtime game against Northwestern, but then the last couple of weeks have just been dreadful. 45-0, 49-10 to Penn State, and a 5-19 record just doesn't look good, and they're willing to bounce. So I think that people will be interested. This is a Big Ten job. You're going to get revenue. I think that you'll be able to hire somebody decent, like somebody okay. I don't think that they're going to attract the biggest names, but you're going to attract like a C+, B- name to take this job. So I'm trying to, again, like just ponder in my head here. I haven't looked at the reports that is going to come out more, like who they're going to be interviewing here for the job. But before I get to that, I again want to say I still have faith in Ryan Walters. And this was a very tough job, and you learn from experience. And I think Ryan's tough. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he'll be a defensive coordinator again. And it's kind of why it's important here is that when Ryan Walters took this job, it honestly was the wrong job. We could say that now. So there's really good coordinators out there like Wes Goodwin, like Tony White, who's at Nebraska. And if the funding, if the administration, if everything is not, if you don't think you can win there, it's not smart to, again, leap to that job. And this, I guess, is a cautionary tale. Also, Ryan Walters would be the first to tell you he didn't get it done. So it's also, of course, the fault of, not only it's the fault of everybody, in the administration and what ended up happening with Coach Walters. But I think he'll be a very good defensive coordinator. I'm looking right now at Lubbock, Texas. That's an open position right now for defensive coordinator. I think he'll be a sought after DC for sure, Ryan Walters. But looking at Purdue, I think that we have to look at, who's very good in FCS. We have Charles Huff, who's having a good year at Marshall. I don't think that Jeff Traylor's going to leave UTSA. G.J. Kinney, they're probably going to try to go after. But again, if you're G.J., I would wait that thing out. So it depends how good the job is, too, of these FCS guys. So I think that they're going to be patient with this hire, and we're going to see what they do. The Purdue Boilermakers. Think it's a tough job, but think within a couple of years, it's still a Big Ten job. And with the money pouring into that league, maybe they can generate some interest, okay, in West Lafayette, in Purdue. They do have a history with Tiller and Drew Brees, so they do kind of have a history. So we'll see. All righty, guys, thanks for watching.